Good morning. My name is Meredith Harris, the Executive Director of Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, and I want to welcome you to our very first live streaming event with Quest Diagnostics called Inside the Industry. Today we're going to take a really great look at what's going on at Quest Diagnostics here in the city of Marlborough. I'm going to tell you a little bit about MEDC. MEDC is the sales and promotional arm for the city of Marlborough, focusing on attracting business and then also keeping the business here once we get them here. We talk to businesses all year long, and one of the biggest things we hear is that if they're able to keep talent and find the people that they need to work in their companies, they're going to stay here. So one of the things that we really want to do is bring companies in to help them with some of those issues. Quest Diagnostics, as you may know, is very busy these days. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and they are testing people across the globe. So we have them here in our studio today to talk a little bit about the jobs that are available, what it's like to work at Quest Diagnostics, and engage with our community about how you can get involved in the things that they're doing every day. I want to give a special shout out to the students that are watching today. You are our future leaders, and there are jobs available for you in this community and in this company in particular. So with that, I'm going to jump over to Karthik Kupasamy to tell us a little bit more about Quest Diagnostics here in Marlborough.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. First and foremost, Quest Diagnostics, what's our mission? Our mission is empowering better health with diagnostics insights. 47,000 people in Quest Diagnostics are working every day, 24/7, towards this mission of empowering better health with diagnostic insights. Let me tell you a little bit about Marlborough. In our Marlborough lab, we have more than 2,200 people working 3 shifts 24/7 to support diagnostic testing every day, before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and post-pandemic as well. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Stephen Farina. Stephen?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Stephen Farina, Director of Satellite Operations for Quest. I've been with the company for about 4.5 years now. I joined from a company in Connecticut, ventured up to Massachusetts, living here in the past year. So I'm loving it. Great company, fostering great growth and opportunity. Turn to Margaret.
Thank you, Stephen. My name is Margarita Walkowski, and I have been with Quest Diagnostics. I'm the Director of Core Lab Automation. I've been with Quest for 38 years. I was born in a corner someplace, and I actually got the opportunity with Quest to actually bring an automation system to life, and it is the largest automated lab in the world. Okay, Tom?
Thank you, Margaret. My name is Tom Hart. I'm the New England Logistics Manager for Quest Diagnostics. I've been with Quest for about 11 years, and I oversee about 300 plus couriers throughout the region.
Great. Thank you all for joining us today. A couple of reminders for the folks that are joining us via social media, YouTube, Facebook. We really want you to engage with us. If you're watching us via YouTube, you can comment right in the chat box below and ask your questions directly to the folks that we have here with us today.
So Meredith, we already have a few people joining us, and we're so excited to welcome you all. Principal Dan Riley over at Marlborough High says, lots of great opportunities in our city. Thank you, Quest. All right, way to go, guys. And we've got a number of students I can see. We've got Sarah. I'm not sure if she's a student or not, but she said, good morning, excited to tune in for a great discussion. So if you guys want to interact with us in any way, you'll kind of see me pop up on the screen, and we'll take your questions and your comments and ask the team here.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jill, and thank you to everybody that's tuning in. It's going to be a really great event. We've got some wonderful people here to share their experiences with us and really tell us what it's like to be a member of the Quest community. And I think it's important, as we look at the companies that are in town and we have the students that are here, we have all kinds of wonderful schools in our community to build that pipeline. We also have, parents of students that might be watching, other members of different surrounding communities, that these jobs are available to all of you. Sometimes it might be a little intimidating. You drive by these big buildings in our towns and in our city where, what are they doing inside those walls and what kind of amazing things are happening? You can be a part of it. So we want people to really engage, ask the questions that you have. No question is silly. We're here to help, and we really want to make sure that you are engaging in this panel and in asking the questions that you have. So with that, we're going to jump right into the questions that we have for the Quest folks that are here, and then we'll open it up to all of you in just a short while. So the first question is going to go to Stephen. What types of positions are currently open at Quest, and what skill set is necessary for some of those positions?
Great question. As Karthik mentioned earlier, we have over 2,200 individuals working here just in our Marlborough facility. Currently today we have 50 plus openings. Due to our COVID pandemic, we are hiring. A lot of those positions are open door entry level, if you will. The entry level positions require you to be 18 years of age. In addition to that, high school diploma. We're fostering that growth opportunity for entry level positions in specimen management, which is more of a data entry. And then there's also other lab assistant entry level positions within our technical areas. For instance, in my area in toxicology, entry level meaning you're working with the scientists, the analyzers, and validation materials. So you're getting your hands-on exposure to that clinical science.
That's great. And so, Stephen, do you have both entry-level and mid-level jobs that are available right now at Quest?
A great follow-up question, absolutely. So a mid-level position that would be available currently today is a medical technologist or a medical technician requiring approximately 4 years of education within one of the biological sciences. So what we look for is people majoring in biology, chemistry, or physics. Also, a 2-year degree will afford you that opportunity as a medical lab technician on our field, and we will promote that change as well and growth with pursuing further credentials and certifications.
That's great. Thank you so much. So I think we're going to talk a little bit now about a personal growth story or how you guys got started in your jobs. You know, again, as I mentioned before, I think sometimes it might be a little intimidating for folks. You know, they see these companies, it's a prestigious company that's doing wonderful things, you know, not only in Massachusetts and Marlborough, but across the country and across the world. Is there a story, Margarita, that you can share with us that maybe how you got involved in Quest and how you grew in the company, some of the opportunities that are really available for anybody?
Absolutely. As I stated earlier when I was introduced, I've been working for the company for 38 years. I graduated from college and went out into the world thinking I was either going to find the cure for cancer or I was going to be something very, very large. And what I found out was without any experience, there weren't any opportunities for me. People kept closing the door, with the exception of Quest. And in Quest, I have enjoyed and been privileged to have opportunity beyond belief. I mean, one woman to take an automated line of 600 feet and make it come live in a laboratory and have it be the largest line and the laboratory in the world, that's pretty amazing. So there are multiple opportunities. And remember, I said I started out with just a bio degree and went out looking for a job. So do not think that that big building is prohibitive to somebody with a bio degree.
I think we're going to jump over to Jill. We have a question from one of our viewers.
That's right. All right, so we've got, let's see, I saw this great question that I couldn't ignore from Jason Santos. He said, what types of roles are in higher demand currently? So what types of roles do you guys have over at Quest that are in higher demand currently? Karthik, did you want to answer that one?
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you. Thank you
Alright.
for the question. Look, the entry-level positions, which we called as specimen processors, there is very high demand for it. You know, we probably still need to hire more than 50, 60 people right now as we speak. That's number one. The second place where we are hiring outside of Marlborough is also phlebotomist. These are people who actually draw specimens in a patient service center. We probably have 100 openings specifically for those particular job categories. Then the biggest one I would say is the lab aides and lab techs. And we have lab aides, lab techs openings that is in excess of 50 openings as well available. These are the three major positions. The fourth one, it might be unique and you might like it, is you might have seen Quest Diagnostics couriers going around the state of Massachusetts, picking up samples from doctor's office or hospitals and bringing it back to the lab. So those positions we call as RSRs. Those positions are actually also available. All you need is a valid driver's license and a good driving record to even consider a position as a courier representative. So these are the ones that I will highlight as job openings.
Awesome. we've got another one. Can I throw another question at you, Karthik?
Yes,
Is that all right?
please.
All right. So we've got Mark Vital, who runs AMSA. I'm sure you've met Mark. Great guy. Hi, Mark. Is there opportunities for job rotation? How about career advancement? Are there opportunities for job rotation? How about career advancement?
Yeah. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for the question. And look, the job rotations are over. People typically, when they start at the entry level in our specimen processing department, their goal is to move from, in a 6 months, 1 year, maybe 2 years, to move from that entry level position to, advancing their position to different levels. They could become lab aides in different departments that we have within Quest Diagnostics. So from a career growth standpoint, I think Margaret truly gave an example of how she started as a lab tech, in Quest Diagnostics, and advanced to become the director of the state-of-the-art future lab in Quest Diagnostics. So I think the opportunity is plenty, and I would also say that since you're asking AMSA, which is a very reputed school here in Marlborough, people with strong, analytical skills, process skills are very welcome. They don't need to know, they don't need to have experience about the laboratory industry.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually will train them. We put them to a 1-week training, 2-week training, and periodic training, and get them to help them realize their dreams. Okay.
Awesome.
That's great. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Margarita. Tom, I believe you also have a personal growth story that you started in Quest and you kind of worked your way up. Would you be able to explain a little bit to us about that?
Absolutely, thank you. Like I previously said, I've been with Quest Diagnostics for approximately 11 years. I was actually with Quest Diagnostics prior to my 11 years as well, about 20 years ago. I started out as a driver when I was going to college, working my way through college actually as a driver. And through that, I quickly realized that as a driver, you're the face of the company. We have more contact with the clients, both internal and external, than pretty much anybody in the company does. So I quickly realized how powerful that was. And as a result, through just my determination and being reliable and dependable, as simply as that, I quickly was able to take opportunities that were inside the office and then work my way up through the ranks. And currently right now, 8 out of my 11 supervisors have all started as couriers as well. And my entire office, my entire admin staff in the office also started as couriers. So with a little bit of perseverance, dedication, and hard work, it's really easy to work your way up through the ranks in Quest Diagnostics.
That's great. Thank you so much. Do you have any advice or tips of somebody, that may be looking to explore the industry, kind of, tip their feet into the water? What would you tell somebody, maybe one of the students that's watching today for their virtual learning, that wants to explore? Did you have any tips? This one could either go to Margaret or to Tom.
The only tip I would have is the sky's the limit. Don't be apprehensive. Go in. If you want, get a tour. We can be reached at to provide a tour. Understand what is available within the laboratory, whether it be the entry-level position or even if you're investigating just to understand, what do I want to do later on? What do I want to be in 5 years? Come in and look at what we have and then find out what that entails and make a very logical decision based on that. Tom?
Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, just expanding on that a little bit. From a logistic perspective, most of our positions, our opportunities right now are entry-level positions. The 3 things that I really look for, and I, not just for Quest Diagnostics, but as young people starting out, be to work when you're scheduled, be on time, and just whatever you're doing, do it 100%. I know that sounds very cliche and very hokey, but honestly, that's exactly what you need right there. If you do those 3 things, you can pretty much do anything you want to.
Those are great things to keep in mind too, and again, trying to break down some of those barriers that you can apply. This is opportunities that are available for folks, and those are some pretty key things that I think would help in any position. I'm going to jump over to Jill. I think we have another question from a viewer.
Yes, we do. All right, so we've got a few people that are asking kind of similar questions, so I'm not sure who wants to field this, but are there jobs available for high school graduates looking to get into the workforce? So people are going to be jumping in this live stream at different times, so we might find ourselves answering the same questions, but that's perfectly fine. So we're high schools, maybe a recent high school graduate, are there jobs that, and what type of jobs would be great for them to jump into?
Yeah, I'll take that question.
Sure.
Yes, high school graduates, as Stephen had referred to in the beginning, we have a minimum age of 18 years. So you have to be 18 years old in order to work in the lab. And it's wonderful because you can easily work part-time, work full-time. We will take you whatever hours you can provide.
Awesome.
I would like to add another aspect to this for the recent high school graduates. So some of you might be doing a lot of work during the weekdays, and we even have flexibility in terms of hiring people exclusively for Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that we are a 3-shift operation, so we are working 24 hours. So we take those part-time positions and apply it for the specific hours that you are available. Obviously, we want to make sure there's a minimum number of hours that you come and work at Quest Diagnostics. But there is flexibility in the way we can schedule you, and as Tom said, it's really performing every day with consistency is important. But we are flexible in our hiring.
I've got another comment. Can I jump in here again?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
please do.
All right. So we've got a comment from Marcio. Good morning for all from Marcio Silva, caregiver and phlebotomy technician. So thanks for joining us, Marcio. Also, we've got a question. This is a more advanced question. So it says, from Jason Santos, what about folks who have an advanced degree, not looking for lab work, but operational, logistical type jobs in the lab medical industry? Does Quest go beyond the diagnostic arena, patient advocacy? Who'd like to run this?
Yeah.
All right, Karthik.
Yeah, so great question. I think I know we focused a lot on entry-level positions. So obviously, in our organization, after people can come in even as supervisors for departments, leading 20, 30 people, and that those kinds of opportunities are available in our managing phlebotomists, for example, managing our couriers, for example, managing a group of lab aides and lab techs, for example. So then you advance into a manager position, or if you have enough experience in the industry, you can come in as a manager position, senior manager, director, senior director, executive director, and vice president and general manager. So there are people who are advanced their careers in this way. So I encourage, if you have few years of experience, great. We would definitely be considering you for different roles that become available on the management side as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And one more comment I wanted to add before we go on. Dan Riley said, great advice on professionalism, Thomas. So
Thank you.
Principal of Marlborough High School appreciates that advice for our students, and really for anyone. That's great advice. And actually, I lied. I've got another question. Sorry. Mark Beidel is joining us and said, what is the culture of Quest like? What are your values? Is it a fun environment to work in?
I think that's the next question.
Is it?
It is.
A
It's
planned
great.
question.
There you
All
go.
right.
Queuing it right along.
Thank you, Mark.
Care to take it, Meredith, or you want me to run with it?
Go right ahead. We'll jump right
Okay.
over to Margaret.
All right, so the question is, why do you like working at Quest, and what is the culture like? Well, I don't like working at Quest. I love working at Quest. I can say at this point in my life, I am very proud of what I've achieved, and it is with Quest's determination to bring that out in me that I achieved this. So the culture, the second part I love about it, I love the people I work with. I come in every day. I say good morning, good afternoon. Everybody's friendly. They work together well, approachable, and it doesn't matter if you're specimen management entry level or supervisor technical. We're all the same people. And we all embrace each other, and we embrace all the individuality that goes along with that. Stephen, would you like to add anything?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Tagging off of what you just said, I mean, the culture is fun. Half an hour before this segment, we were talking about how much fun and laughter we have at our job. The culture is inclusive. We're continuously collaborating on the next steps, the next levels. Cross-departmental operations is key for our success. It doesn't just stop in the laboratory. Like Karthik said, we have phlebotomists, we have logistics, we have clients. We also have client services. So there's an array of opportunities, not just in the laboratory, but outside in our ancillary services and remote operations that we have to foster as well from a communication. So I think that's what makes us unique in this sense, is that we're a collaborative environment, we are inclusive, and we're ready for the next move. We're constantly forecasting. And lastly, I'll say this, is that Quest does a great job at aligning their strategy, their market analysis with their people. We're involved. We have a say. We have a voice. And I think that's what's key here to how we're a leading diagnostic company. We're continuously growing folks, and retention is phenomenal. I think at the end of the day, that's what gets me going, is that inclusiveness and my voice is heard.
And just to add to that, is diversity welcome in your organization? I think I know the answer, but just want to ask the question as well. Stephen?
Yes, of course. Another unique, I think, function to Quest is that you look at diversity in many different avenues, whether it's race, gender, etc. But I think we cover all of that. We also foster a lot of different committees. Those of you who are in high school, it's important to join committees and that extracurricular environments and clubs and activities. We have something similar. We have a Women in Leadership, for example, key aspect in, I won't call it a club, but an activity where key women partner to raise awareness for women in leadership roles, and we're fostering that environment continuously. We have African American, Hispanic, gay, lesbian, transgender awareness. And it doesn't stop with the committees. It also, we're open to that. We have a lot of employee based driven organizations and activities that are continuously going on, promoting change, promoting awareness. At the end of the day, that's what we're about.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing about that. I also want to pull it back over to Tom and ask why he likes working at Quest, and what is the culture like for you as well, Tom?
The culture at Quest is phenomenal. Like I mentioned earlier, I had worked with Quest about 20 years ago, and I left to pursue other business adventures. And ever since I left Quest the first time, I was always longing to come back, just because the culture and the atmosphere, Stephen and Margaret both said, the collaboration, that's what's the most fun about it. Every day is something different. Every day you're working with somebody new. I've built some phenomenal relationships with the people here. And most importantly is the awareness of family at Quest. The work-life balance, you'll get to know that term, down the road someday. But the work-life balance where, they give you the time with your family, and with the empathy and the understanding that, sometimes, you need to be with your family, but when it's time to work, everybody's there to work as well.
It's a great point. As a newer mother myself, that's a huge thing that is important in your everyday life, and being able to really be, at your job and at your best. You need to make sure that you have that balance. So thanks for sharing that, Tom. So we're going to jump to a different question. This one is a little bit more of an HR balance, but if someone was to pursue a part-time degree, would Quest support with tuition reimbursement? And Stephen, I think we're going to jump to you for that one.
Absolutely, yeah. So Quest does offer a very robust tuition reimbursement program. We do cap it at a certain amount, but what I think also is so unique here, and I actually took advantage of this twice, and not because I'm greedy, it's just I love learning, but we partner with online schools, Capella University, Ashford University, University of Phoenix, where they adjusted their tuition rates to match our max rate. So you're getting 100% of your tuition paid by Quest Diagnostics at an undergraduate and master's level. I'm going to repeat that because it is so imperative that folks learn this day and age. Online education, Capella, Ashford, University of Phoenix, 100% of tuition paid at the undergraduate and graduate level. You can't beat that. What's something that mattered to me with that was that I didn't have to pay out of pocket. The universities allowed a 15 deferment payment to where I was able to submit reimbursement and then get the money funded into my paycheck and where I paid the university back. So it is a great opportunity to not just join us and learn, but you're also part of a network where you can continue your education as an undergraduate level or even a master's level. So yeah, thanks.
That is incredible. As somebody that has a lot of student debt, that is something any of the students that are watching pay attention, because that is a really important thing to note. Tom, we're going to go back to you. Overall Quest benefit packages, what does that look like for employees?
The benefits here are great at Quest. Not only the medical, the dental, the vision, your typical. We get annual merit increases.
Hold on one second. I'm just going to fix your camera here.
Okay.
Karthik, can you run with this question for a second?
Yeah, so let's talk about benefits package overall. I mean, the first and foremost benefit package that I would primarily talk about is the healthcare benefits. Okay, and we have a very robust, very competitive healthcare package that people at all levels can choose to participate in. And if you choose to participate in it, then you see a tremendous amount of benefits. Let me give you one example. So any laboratory testing, if my physician asks to be tested on me, I can go take that requisition or that order, go to any Quest Patient Service Center and get those tests, blood drawn and get those tests done at zero cost to me, zero out-of-pocket cost to me. So it's a huge benefit. In addition to that, every year around this time frame, October, and it ends actually on November 6th, what we do is something called a blueprint for wellness. This is about 150 tests about multiple profiles of your body. Okay, so this could be cardiovascular test, this could be lipid function test, this could be liver function, kidney function. All kinds of tests are done, and it's done for free, and you get a report. So I've been with Quest Diagnostics 7 years. I get a report of how my metrics, like my cholesterol level, did it improve or did it go down? Did my vitamin D level in the last 7 years, did it go up or go down? So it allows you to personally manage your health. So that's one of the, I would say, the biggest benefits. In addition, we call it, paid time off benefits, right? So depending on, how much experience you have in Quest Diagnostics, you get, different rates of paid time off, and that's available as well. And, people take tremendous advantage of that.
Tom, did you want to add anything? Sorry, Tom, we were
No,
having
it's okay.
little bit of a technical glitch there, but if you wanted to finish your thought that I so rudely interrupted you.
No, that's that's okay. Just to expand on what Karthik was just saying as well, some of the really cool benefits too that Quest offers is Quest is worldwide, nationwide, so they offer a lot of what I call fringe benefits. They offer discounts on your phone plans. They offer automobile purchase discounts. They offer BJ's. There's just a multitude of different things that other companies partnership with Quest and offer us discounts with. So it's also not just salary pay benefits, health and dental and things like that, but there's also a lot more that you benefit from by being a Quest employee.
It's a great a point as well. There's a lot of competition, in where to work and lots of opportunities for folks. Some of those things really can help people make a decision of where they want to go, depending on the culture and some of the benefits that are available. We're going to jump over to Jill. I think we have a question from one of our viewers.
Yes, we've got Mrs. Jennifer Belial, who's a good friend of mine and an awesome teacher at Marlborough High School. Hi, Jen. How you doing? She wants to know, are there any internship opportunities for high school or for college students? Are there any internship opportunities with Quest?
I'll take that, thanks.
Sure.
And yes, there are per se internship opportunities, but like I said at the very beginning, you have to be 18 years of age in order to come into the lab. It's just a law. So if you're 18 and you would like to come in and work part-time, weekends, as Karthik had mentioned, that would be great. I mean, I have a story from a gentleman, a young man who was graduating from Assabet Valley, and the year before he graduated, he happened to be 18, and he came to work for us after school and on weekends. And then he was going to Arizona University, and he had to transfer over and he had to move. And we mentioned to him, well, we have Quest sites there. If you want a part-time job during college, we can get you there. We can recommend you. So as you can see, it doesn't have to be limited to Massachusetts. If you're going off to a college in another state, we are virtually everywhere, and we can facilitate that. And you know, at the starting rate that we have, it's quite attractive. It certainly beats McDonald's.
Jill, can I expand on that?
Sure.
So, like Margaret, we have an employee, a driver who was working his way through school, part-time weekends. He was only working Saturdays, Sundays. He just graduated. He's a math major. He just graduated with a mathematics degree, and now he's working for us full-time in the logistics department, but he's also looking at the other departments, and that's what's really cool about working at Quest as well, is you can start off in the logistics department, but you can also move to ancillary departments as well, to toxicology, to specimen management, anywhere you want. He's actually looking and speaking with one of our financial managers to be an analyst in one of their departments as well. Mm-hmm. So there's so many different things and so many different ways you can go.
That's phenomenal. So one more question. I'm going to put this one to either Stephen or Margaret. If you had 100 resumes in front of you, is there anything that would make one stand out in particular? Some advice to some of our future leaders that are watching today, if they wanted to come and work at your company?
Absolutely, I can start and you can tag on. I think one of the things that I really look for in an individual, that at the end of the day, a little bit of experience and that exposure, an entry level individual who is ready to go, wants to learn, and grow and develop, and at least commit 2 to 3 years for Quest. If not even more. I think at the end of the day, what singles someone out for me is the ability to think critically. Critical thinking is such a key element in the laboratory industry. Looking at what is in front of you only is not always just the answer. You have to look at the big picture. And coming to Quest, you'll learn just that. You'll learn that in any environment you work in, because that's what we're constantly promoting and seeing. So that's one of the things I look for, that ability to critically think. Want to take it?
Thanks, Stephen. The number one thing, that piece of paper that comes into Quest or is emailed to Quest, whatever mode, it represents you. We don't see your face. So that it has to be precise, because your resume is a reflection of you. And this is where you start learning that this is what the world is like. The world doesn't like typos. The world doesn't like messes. I don't want to have to dig to find out what really drives you. I want you to put it down there and say it clearly and concise, like we have to be today. We have to be concise in what we're saying, but say it clearly, concise, and make it as neat as possible. I think the biggest thing somebody told me, the one that I took most seriously when I graduated from college, is never make it more than 1 page. Your resume should be 1 page. You should be able to summarize everything in 1 page. So I would ask, when you're writing it, even in haste, don't send it. Look it over. Make sure it fully represents who you are. I think that would it.
It's important. Take your time.
Yeah.
Make sure that when you're sending something in, it is representative of who you are. So before we jump to the Q&A section, where we want the audience to really give us more questions, we've had some great ones so far. I've got one more question that I'm going to ask Margaret. As the viewers at home get typing, get yourselves ready, because we are here and we're ready to answer any more questions that you have. But there's one more question I want to ask, because I think it's really important for folks to understand, is the the multiple shifts that you guys have at Quest. I think that that really opens up a wide variety of options for folks to work in your company, whether it be different times of the day, to really, again, go back to that work-life balance, fit into the situation that you have in your own life. So Margaret, I'm going to toss it back to you to talk a little bit about the multiple shifts at Quest.
Thank you. There are multiple shifts, and what the beauty of Quest is and how they invest in their employees is that there's not a standard 6 to 3, 11 to 7. We operate 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're virtually a hospital. So if you start thinking to yourself, well, I can't really, I have to drop the kids off, or I have to watch because my mother's at work and I can't get in till this time, we're very adaptive to that. We can reconcile the hours that will work best for you. Understand, you can't walk in and say, I want to work 12 to 2. There are certain requirements we have, and there are so whatever you feel most comfortable, then suggest it, and we will try to work with you. In some cases, this can be achieved. We've done it countless numbers of times. Because of family life, we've adjusted people's hours. Sometimes people, just can't get there on time. Well, why are we going to kill them for that? We adjust the hours. But any number of hours and multiple shifts and multiple times, yes.
And I think that's so important in today's world too, the way that things are moving and folks are working from home. It's important to note that a company is willing to work with you and wants to take your life into consideration, and that's a huge benefit and a wonderful thing that Quest is able to offer. So with that, that's the last of our pre-scripted questions that we have here. I'm going to jump over to Jill because I am assuming that we have some wonderful questions from our live viewing audience.
Of course we do. It's such a great audience. And I've got to say, can I do this? Can I just give a little shout out to MEDC for being a great place to work as well?
Absolutely.
All of the feedback you all are giving, I feel the same way about working here at MEDC. So go Marlborough.
That's right.
Go Marlborough. All right, so we've got a question from Sarah Berman who says, what kind of prior experience stands out on a resume? What kind of prior experience stands out on a resume? So what do you guys think? Who wants to run with that?
I can start that, and then
Sure.
we can tag.
Yeah.
I think if from an entry-level position, I think coursework stands out. I usually look at the coursework and lab work that an individual has partaken in, such as anatomy, physiology, chemistry labs. That shows me that there's experience in following procedure, direction, those sorts of things. That's from an entry level. I think if you're looking to advance, if I'm looking at a medical technologist, I think one of the things that I'm looking at is prior experience. That's whether 1 to 2 years. I think that's significant. Margaret, you want to take next?
I would just back up just a little bit. And as far as entry level, what we're really focused in on and what happens when you apply for a specimen management position is data entry. You don't necessarily have to have medical data entry, but you have to be precise with data entry. Here it goes back to the resume. No typos, make sure what you're putting down. And then the speed. We do require so many words per minute when you do apply, but you have to also remember it's the accuracy. We're a medical laboratory. It's very important.
Jill, can I just expand on that too? So this is what makes Quest so unique as well, because Stephen and Margaret are talking about the medical aspect and the technical aspects of it. But again, with logistics, it truly is an entry-level position, and really the thing that we look at is for the prior experience working in the biomed industry and transporting biomedical specimens is definitely a plus. But bottom line is if customer service is one thing that we look for, but especially kids coming right out of college or right out of high school. The resume is not as big a factor for us as it is for the other departments. We want to see a nice, neat resume, as Margaret said, but the in-person interview for us is what's key. We want to, we're trying to gauge your personality, and kind of your background, and we really want to see who you are and how you'll fit in with the culture.
Awesome. Karthik as well.
Yeah, let me just share so that you know the breadth of jobs available, because I think each and every one is different. I'm unique, you are unique. And we have opportunities for everybody. Let me start with this. So we get sick or during a normal annual, physical, we end up going to a doctor, right? The doctor looks at us and he might order specifically some testing, right? So, and it could be any kind of blood related testing that he wants us to do. So what do? You get that prescription and you have to either the doctor draws the blood, or they say go to a Quest Diagnostics Patient Service Center. It's located in Marlborough in the main street. So we go there. So there is job available right there in that patient service center for Quest, where there are greeter positions which we have newly instated. So very little training, just good people skills. Somebody to greet people, to come and sit, how to use the iPad, things like that. And all the way to really drawing, blood, which is you need to be a phlebotomist, you need to be trained there. So that's one portion of the job. So after that's done, what happens to the tube of blood that we collected? As Tom talked about, there comes our couriers. They run around the New England area all the time. They're driving around. So the drivers basically come, stop, pick up those tubes, right? And their job is to make sure there is 100% quality in terms of the tubes picked up and the tubes delivered in the Marlborough lab. That's the portion of the route service reps. So they bring the tube, so follow the specimen into the lab. So once it comes into the lab, the first thing is, how do you know I've received the tube? You have to do a basic scanning of the tube, and that's what we called as specimen accessioning or specimen processing. That's another data entry level job that you could jump into, and there is a lot of positions available in all three shifts there. Right. After that, it goes into different departments, right? If it's a hematology department, microbiology department, toxicology, COVID department, right? We have a department exclusively focused on COVID. So people, the samples go into different locations, and it gets tested. So once it gets tested, we automatically upload the results. There is an IT team that we have. The IT team is responsible for doing that. Plus, we have, when customers call, right, we have a customer solutions team that actually has to answer the phone. So there is a set of jobs that are available for just answering the phone and responding to customers. So that's another position that's available. So, and then obviously managerial and supervisory roles are available. So I want you to see that during the sample, how the sample is collected to all the time we deliver the results to the physician, there are multiple jobs available in Quest Diagnostics. So your skill, on multiple areas might be useful. And I just want to say I'm incredibly proud of our team, the culture, which is a highly people-oriented culture that we have in Quest Diagnostics Marlborough.
We are very proud to have you in Marlborough.
Thank you, Meredith.
Yes, yes. And I think it's important too to note it's not just COVID either, right? I think a lot of people right now are seeing Quest and they're doing all the testing for COVID, but there is a lot of different things that Quest has done prior to the pandemic, will do after the pandemic and during.
Mm-hmm.
So Jill, I'll jump back to you. We can get some more questions from our viewers.
Sure, awesome. So we've got from E. Burdick. What are some summer internship opportunities at Quest, if there are any? Are there different criteria you look for in people applying for those type of positions? Do you guys have
Yeah,
some
I'll
summer
get it.
internships? Yeah.
So as far as internships, summer internships, yes, we do have summer internships. We've had them since we first opened. What we require is some sort of background in science, understanding that you want to forward your education by working in what you potentially would be employed in. So other than that, your resume should state clearly what you want to pursue, and you should represent that during the interview.
Awesome. We've got another question. Let's see. From Stacy Santos. I currently do mobile phlebotomy. Do you work or contract mobile phlebotomists?
I'll take it. Thank you for the question. Yes, we do. We have a mobile phlebotomy organization, and and we are hiring in those positions as well. Obviously, you know that they are always traveling, going from one nursing home to other nursing home, or even homes for that matter, in terms of visiting the patient, drawing the blood, and bringing back to Quest Diagnostics. So we have those positions available. It's headed by a leader called Trudy Ann Jack, and very she has been leading it for the last several years and doing an outstanding job there with that recruitment. And if you're interested, maybe you are the first person who actually applied for Quest Diagnostics, please reach out to us.
Awesome. All right, we've got another question from Marcio, and I think what he's trying to say here is how does your team focus on sharing the different opportunities to the multicultural people here in Marlborough? So what's your outreach in terms of reaching some of our multilingual residents?
Yeah. So look, there's multiple ways we get our message out. I would say, look, simply posting jobs available in LinkedIn. These are, when I talked about we are hiring 50, 60 people, there's one job description, but we are hiring for that job description 50, 60 people. So it's pretty straightforward. So there's always openings in our region. So LinkedIn is one. Facebook, we have utilized Facebook. And we actually have recruiters and agencies who also source candidates for us. I would like to really mention Meredith Harris personally. In terms of Marlborough Economic Development Corporation has been a great partner. Whenever we have requested for help, they have actually provided opportunities like this that we are doing today to talk to our community that there is an opportunity right in your backyard with Quest Diagnostics. And they have created a lot more. They have actually went boundarylessly and have told opportunities to not only in Boston, but also Worcester, Southborough, Westborough, Northborough, all these other locations as well. So thank you, Meredith, for being a great partner for us in getting the message out.
Our pleasure. If you guys are happy, we're happy, and I think a lot of what we do is trying to make those connections, and we have a really diverse community here, and again, really trying to break down those walls of you can apply, the jobs are available, and really just trying to make sure people feel comfortable. And certainly thank you guys for being here today and getting your message out there, because we hope that with this platform it'll reach even more folks for that kind of a thing. Jill, back to you. We've got another question.
All right. So going along with that same theme, Lola here is asking a question. What types of jobs are available for people that are non-native English speakers, especially in this area? So are there specific jobs that kind of stand out, that if someone's a non-fluent English speaker, is there still opportunity there, and what kind of opportunities?
Oh, sure. Entry level positions, or if you're qualified for a med tech or any of the scientific positions, we welcome you, because I'll tell you, we have such a diverse culture, and what I mean by that is we have people that the English language is not their primary language, and they're very hesitant to speak. I can think of one particular gentleman that's on my night shift team, and you should see him now. He has grown in the last 3 years. His emails are perfect. We helped him, we encouraged him, we supported him through it. Just because you can't speak perfect English, well, maybe a customer solutions position is not what you want to be right now. But the laboratory, yes, we would take you without a problem.
That's awesome. Can I jump in and say something in Spanish and Portuguese? Is that all right?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Gente, tem muitas oportunidades aqui, só tem que investigar pouco, okay? Hay muchas oportunidades aquí con Quest Diagnostics. No se preocupe si su inglés no es perfecto, está bien. Hay muchas oportunidades, okay? Gente, tá bom? All right.
That was well done.
Yes,
Jill.
very well done.
And actually,
Do you speak Spanish and Portuguese? Because maybe it's not. Maybe I'm fooling you.
the only thing, look, we have, as Stephen mentioned, African American Forum, Hispanic Forum, and other forums where you'll get to meet people that you're comfortable talking to initially. So there are groups there that you can socialize and get to know how they have actually worked in Quest Diagnostics from the beginning, to where they are today. So it's not a barrier. There are a lot of data entry jobs where you just need to focus and do the job with discipline and process rather than language itself. Okay.
Awesome. I've got another question, kind of connected to that now that we're all kind of loose and having fun. From Sarah, at such a large corporation, how do you create an environment that feels intimate and personal between departments?
So I'll take that as, first of all, Quest culture is a very collaborative and people-oriented culture. That's especially true in the Marlborough lab. And let me tell you, right, when the COVID pandemic started, right, in mid-March, there was a lockdown, there was shutdown, everything happened, right? Very quickly, we have to bring up innovative COVID testing into Marlborough lab. And I can tell you it's not only that particular molecular department that worked on it. Without me as a leader asking, our teams were collaborating naturally. People were coming out and working, whether it's weekend or whether it's third shift, whether it's second shift, they volunteer. I can see Margaret's team, Stephen's team, Tom's team, every one of those teams and others actually came into work without anybody requesting them. So there is an inherent sense of pride, the trust people have with the work that we do. And honestly, we are, as a company, truly doing noble work. As Quest Diagnostics, we have done more than 17 million COVID tests for the entire nation. More than 2.4 million COVID tests was done in our backyard here in Marlborough lab, serving the New England community. It's important for the community I live in. It's important to give hope for families and save lives. And I think people just embody that spirit. And I think that's why it's a culture that it doesn't have to be top down. I think people are naturally working together.
That's incredible. I mean, you think about the things that, again, like I said earlier, you drive by, you see the building, and you wonder what's going on inside, and it's a lot of amazing things, and I'm sure you guys would love to have more people be a part of that. So, Margaret?
And with that being said, if I just may add one more, a lot of people are hesitant to come into the lab because they're worried. We do a lot of COVID testing, okay, and people are worried, oh, I don't want to touch anything and catch anything. I'll tell you, when March happened, and we had our lockdown take place, we were still operating 24/7. And we have such robust, because Quest as a whole took action in protecting its employees that came in every single day. And we have such a robust health and safety department that we ended up, since March, we have yet to have a single positive COVID employee. So it's really pretty remarkable. So if you think about it, oh, I don't want to go in there. They're doing COVID testing. Don't let that stop you.
It's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have one more question before we wrap things up. Jill, you want to let us know what the last question is from our viewers?
Well, before the last question, we've got a comment from Mrs. Jen Belisle, again at the high school, saying thank you for Quest for having us. We've got to head out to our next remote class, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, let's see, we've got someone asking a question about, Amanda Chenier, who's our,
Youth specialist.
thank you.
Yes.
At the high school. She wants to know, what is the interview process like at Quest? So if someone has submitted, or they see a job posting, what's the next step? What might they
Right.
prep for?
I'll be happy to take it. Start it off. I think the first step is to apply, submitting your resume online. I believe at the end here there'll be a link for you to go onto our site to look at our job offerings. And then you'll get a phone call. There's a screening process with an external recruiter who is reviewing the resumes, consulting with the hiring department supervisor, manager, and you'll get a phone call to do a screening process. And from there, then it's a setup. Right now, we're doing a lot of virtual interviews, so Skype, Zoom, etc. And if time allows and practice allows, we'll invite you in for a tour where you can meet face to face for the next steps in the final rounds. I think most importantly, again, that resume, as Margaret talked to it, that piece of paper being concise and one pager will make you stand out as a candidate. Anybody want to tag to that? Or?
I mean, just the interview process, as Stephen said, has morphed because of COVID. But we do, when we're seriously considering candidates, we will take them in if they want to. I mean, eventually, if you want to have the job, you're going to have to walk through the door. So we'll interview in person because, as everybody knows, a piece of paper isn't you. It's the best representation, but it isn't you. And having you there answering the questions, and if I could just shout out to every high school kid that wants, you don't have to come in a suit and tie, but dress appropriately, make the best representation, and look very eager. That's what we want.
That's fabulous. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in today to our wonderful Inside the Industry event. I'd like to personally thank Karthik, Stephen, Margaret, and Tom for being here with us today, and Jill with the MEDC team, my team here, for really putting on this amazing production. It was the first ever, and I think we've done a pretty good job here, so really proud of the team. Also want to extend a great thank you to Mayor Vigent and the City Council of Marlborough for creating such an amazing community that we have here, and really encouraging us at the MEDC to engage with our companies and try to help them and keep them here in our community, because we're all much better together. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We will have a link to the jobs that are available at Quest Diagnostics. And Jill, I think you've got one more thing you want to say before we wrap up and send everybody on their way.
I hate the attention. I really do. You guys all have these snazzy backgrounds. That's fine. It's fine. All right. No, I just wanted to jump in, say thank you on behalf of everyone. Our comments are filling up. We've got Dan Riley saying thank you all so very much. Andre Pion is saying this is great. Marcio, who participated, and you guys answered a lot of his questions. We just, they really appreciate it. Greg says this has been great on behalf of the Mass Hire Metro Southwest Workforce Board. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we did have a large regional showing, so thanks to our regional partners for sharing this, and again, not open to just Marlborough folks, and a lot of folks that are going to be able to hopefully benefit from this event. So thank you all so very much. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we can land some jobs.
Well,
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in Quest
everybody.
Diagnostics.
I know.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.